Hey there, treasure hunter. These 3 plants only grow where diamonds are hidden underground, and hardly anyone knows about it. It might sound like something out of a movie, but it's backed by science. And if you know the secret behind these plants, you could find treasure with your eyes, not with shovels. While most people are out there chasing old maps or expensive machines, nature is quietly shouting to those who know how to listen. There's wealth down here. Some plant species simply refuse to grow in poor soil. They only sprout where the ground hides kimberlite formations, the exact kind of soil that produces the most valuable diamonds on Earth. And the craziest part? You might have walked right past one of these plants and never had a clue. So let me ask you, why keep ignoring such obvious signs? If this kind of content sparks your curiosity and helps you see the world differently, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Because around here, we reveal the secrets nobody else talks about. In today's video, you'll discover how nature doesn't just hide its biggest secrets, it camouflages them. And the first step? Learning to look at the ground the way you'd look at a treasure map. While most people chase wealth by digging deep, with noise, haste, and sweat, nature works the opposite way, in silence, with patience and subtlety. It doesn't shout, it whispers. There are plants that grow only where the soil hides, a precious secret. And every branch, every leaf, every curve of the stem is a clue left on purpose for those who know how to look. Ancient tribes already understood this. And here's the shocking part. It took science centuries to confirm what our ancestors knew by heart. Some plant species don't just grow anywhere. They grow in very specific places, the exact spots where diamonds are hidden underground. But how is that even possible? Why do these plants thrive in such rare environments? What lies beneath the surface that pulls their roots like an invisible magnet? These questions change everything. Because once you understand this, you'll stop seeing vegetation as just part of the scenery. And you'll start seeing it as a map that, believe it or not, could lead you straight to where no one else is even looking yet. For centuries, the idea of finding diamonds was tied to luck, persistence, and long, grueling treks through barren lands. But what most people don't realize is that nature itself offers shortcuts, and some of those shortcuts have leaves, trunks, and roots. The science behind this is called geobotany, and it states, based on solid research, that certain plants grow only in soils that contain diamonds or specific minerals. One striking example is the Pandanus candelabrum, a plant that gained fame after a remarkable discovery in Liberia. In 2015, geologists found a diamond deposit after following a trail of these plants growing on volcanic terrain. The Pandanus, with its long sword-like leaves, was thriving in kimberlite-rich soil, the very type of rock that carries diamonds deep underground. It was almost as if the plant was saying, "Dig here!" But that's just the beginning. The second species is Terminalia catapa, also known as the tropical almond tree. While it's more commonly seen in coastal and tropical regions, it has a special trait. It grows best in soil with high levels of magnesium, iron, and compounds often found in the upper layers of kimberlite deposits. In simpler terms, when you spot this tree growing on cracked, volcanic-looking ground, it's time to pay close attention. It's a tall tree with broad, rounded leaves and a canopy shaped like an umbrella, perfect for casting shade and hiding what's beneath. In parts of West Africa, it's already served as a starting point for successful mining. It's not magic, it's biology. The roots of these plants sense what's in the ground, and they only thrive if the soil has just the right nutrients, which, not by coincidence, often show up where diamonds do. Now, the third isn't just one plant, but a group, the Combretum genus. These are shrubs and small trees found across many parts of Africa, especially in mineral-rich zones. Research shows that certain Combretum species can tolerate heavy metals and actually flourish in chemically altered soils. What does that mean in practice? When you see a dense concentration of these plants growing in dry, rocky areas, far from rivers or water sources, there's a real chance the soil is hiding something rare. Here's a helpful detail. Combretum often blooms in shades of pink to purple, creating a vibrant visual contrast that makes them easy to spot in the wild. In reports from explorers and miners in Sierra Leone and Liberia, sightings of these plants have preceded major discoveries. They truly are like sentinels, standing guard over treasures no one else can see. The connection between these plants and diamonds lies in kimberlite soil, a type of volcanic rock that forms deep beneath the Earth's surface and rises through rare geological explosions, carrying diamonds along its path. Kimberlite has a unique chemical composition, rich in magnesium, potassium, iron, and other minerals that change the soil's pH and texture. Most plants can't survive in it, but these three species, they don't just survive, they thrive. And that's exactly what makes them special. They don't grow randomly. They grow because something beneath the surface is feeding them, sustaining them. By the way, if this content is making sense to you and opening your eyes to a whole new world, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because nature still has a lot to teach us. And believe me, this trail, it's just getting started. More than scientific names, what really matters here is learning to recognize nature's patterns. If you start noticing the same plants growing in the same kinds of terrain, dark, cracked soil, often isolated from other vegetation, that's a sign. And once those patterns repeat, that's when you start to make connections. First visual, then analytical, finally strategic. Pandanus, Terminalia, Combretum. These aren't just plants, they're living clues, growing right over soil that holds hidden wealth. It's not an exaggeration to say that these plants can be more effective than many prospecting tools, especially in the early stages. Because while machines need fuel, maintenance, and technical know-how, these plants just grow, point, and warn. All you need to do is learn to listen. And the most exciting part? There are even more practical ways to recognize these signs in the field. And that's what we'll explore next. Knowing the names of these plants isn't enough. The real game changer is being able to recognize them in the field. Take the Pandanus candelabrum, for example. It stands out thanks to its unique structure. Long, stiff leaves that spiral upward, forming a shape that resembles a candelabra, which is exactly how it got its name. The Terminalia catapa, although more common, has wide, teardrop-shaped leaves that change color with the seasons and form dense, symmetrical canopies that cast deep shade. Then there's the Combretum genus, shrubs and small trees that bloom beautifully and are often found in tropical and subtropical regions. The key here is observation. Apps like PlantNet, Seek, or Picture. This can help you identify species in the field with surprising accuracy. But don't rely only on memory. Take photos, compare with databases, and log anything that seems out of place. And let me know in the comments. Have you ever seen a plant that looked like these? Sharing your experience might help someone else. 2. These plants don't just pop up randomly. They grow in very specific environments with unique geological traits. Kimberlite-rich soils, the ones that indicate the presence of diamonds, are formed by ancient volcanic eruptions. So where do you find these formations? in countries like Liberia and Sierra Leone, where pandanus is native, but also in places like the Northern Territory in Australia, parts of British Columbia in Canada, and areas like Wyoming and Colorado in the US, where old intrusive rock formations exist. These are typically remote zones, sparsely populated, and often feel untouched. When hiking through those areas, look for crumbly, dark soils, volcanic textures, and sparse vegetation. That's the kind of terrain where sentinel plants tend to thrive. Enjoyed that tip? Give this video a like. It really helps me keep bringing you rare and to-the-point content like this. Found a suspicious-looking plant? Awesome. Now it's time to act strategically. Mark the location using your phone's GPS or with apps like Gaia GPS or AllTrails. Take close-up photos of the soil, the roots, and the surrounding area. Avoid pulling or damaging the plant. Your goal is to study, not destroy. For a more technical approach, collect a small soil sample in a clean container, label it with the date and coordinates, and send it to a local lab or a university with a geology program. Even DIY soil test kits, available at Home Depot, Bunnings, or Amazon, can provide useful info like iron presence, aluminum content, and pH levels. What you're looking for is a pattern. Soils that are alkaline, or rich in magnesium, chromium, or nickel. Elements commonly found near kimberlite pipes. Have you ever tried this kind of analysis before? Drop a comment and let me know what you discovered. Now, if you're ready to take this seriously, here's a pro tip. Using public geological maps is a power move. Websites like the USGS, United States Geological Survey, Geological Survey of Canada, and Geoscience Australia offer detailed free-access maps showing rock formations, tectonic faults, and underground structures that favor diamond formation. Reading these maps isn't as complicated as it sounds. Kimberlite zones are usually marked with dark colors and distinct patterns. Now combine that with your field observations, like the presence of indicator plants, unusual soil, or erosion features, and you're on the right path. And remember, the remote, forgotten places are often the ones nobody has touched yet, which means they might still be hiding something valuable. If this content has sparked ideas for you, type, "I follow the roots," down in the comments, just so I know your eyes are getting sharper. And if right now you're thinking, "But I'm not a geologist, can I really do this?" The answer is yes, you can, and you should. It all starts with the habit of exploring with purpose. Walk through parks, nature reserves, rural zones, or even the edges of abandoned urban areas. Bring a magnifying glass, a field notebook, and download apps that identify plants and rocks. Photograph anything that stands out. Research it later at home. Over time, your eyes will change. You'll start to notice that even the most ordinary soil might be hiding extraordinary clues. That the most unassuming plant might be screaming a secret nobody else hears. And when that moment comes, you'll understand. This isn't just about finding gemstones. It's about learning to see the invisible. And believe it or not, some of the most powerful clues don't even have roots. They float through the air, in the form of flowers, mosses, and lichens. But that is just the beginning of the trail. What might be most fascinating of all is realizing that those 3 plants you've just learned about are only the gateway to an entire universe of hidden signs. In parts of Australia, for instance, certain grasses grow directly over gold veins, absorbing trace amounts of metal that subtly change their color and structure. In Canada, some types of lichens act like biological sensors, shifting in tone when exposed to copper or nickel in the soil. There are ferns that twist unnaturally in iron-rich ground, and even shrubs that grow almost exclusively in cobalt-heavy soil, like Homaniastrum, found in Central Africa. This isn't witchcraft or speculation. It's science. What you're looking at is applied geobotany, and it's used by major mining companies during early exploration phases. If you can learn to read what's right in front of your eyes, you might see things that even veteran geologists take years to recognize. It's like holding a treasure map, disguised as a landscape. But it's not just plants that talk. Other parts of nature also give away what's hidden underground. Termites, for example, when building their mounds using local soil, often bring up micro traces of minerals like gold or lead. Some species of mosses and fungi react to the underground environment by changing shape or color, depending on the minerals below. There are even insects that are drawn to, or avoid, certain chemical compositions in the earth. These tiny details, which most people overlook, are actually part of a coded language, one that only trained eyes can interpret. Nature is always speaking. The only difference between those who find and those who walk right past is how trained their eyes are. Because once you learn to listen to the earth, even in its subtlest whispers, everything changes. And at that point, what you begin to uncover may not be just precious stones, but something even more valuable, the sharpened awareness of someone who has learned to live in tune with the natural world. Maybe you've already walked past one of these plants and didn't even realize it. You passed it on a trail, in a distant field, maybe even near your home. And right there, beneath those quiet roots, there was more than just dirt. There were clues. Life, like the earth, hides its treasures beneath the surface. And only those who take the time to pause, breathe, and truly observe start to realize that the signs are everywhere. The ground speaks. The leaves tell stories. Nature never stopped communicating. We just stopped listening. But once you start noticing the little details in the world around you, something inside you begins to change too. Because this isn't just about finding diamonds. It's about developing a deeper way of seeing, a more sensitive kind of listening, a stronger connection with the world around you. And if you're ready to take the next step in this journey, safely and confidently, I've put together a complete practical guide that will take you from beginner to advanced in the world of gemstone discovery. It's available for a limited time with a special offer. You'll find the link in the description below. Don't miss your chance. Check it out while it's still live. If you've made it this far, it's probably because something inside you feels that nature is trying to say something. And now that you know there are plants that point to diamonds, that the soil speaks, and that the signs are all around us, the real question is, will you ignore them? Or will you learn to read them? If your answer is yes, I want to learn, drop a comment below saying, I follow the roots. That tells me you're serious about seeing the world through this new lens. And if you're ready to go even deeper, that practical guide I mentioned earlier will open your mind in a way no short video ever could. Don't let this opportunity pass. Because while some people are still out there chasing luck, you're already chasing knowledge. And that's the difference between those who try and those who find. One day, you'll be walking down some random trail, glance at a regular-looking plant, and for just a moment, you'll remember everything you heard here. You'll wonder, what if? Because now, you no longer see the ground the same way. Where you once saw weeds, you now see patterns. Where you once heard silence, you now hear signals. That's how transformation begins. Little by little, the world reveals itself, not through explosions, but through whispers. And that is where the real treasure lies. But if you think only plants reveal secrets, then you have to watch the video now appearing on your screen. Your dog might be able to sniff out million-dollar diamonds, and you had no idea. Yes, there are dog breeds trained to detect valuable minerals underground, and the science behind it is just as fascinating as it is real. Click now and dive into your next discovery. See you soon, fellow treasure hunter.